For example, very often I would try to explain something to a student, assuming that he knew something in the background, only to find that I wasn't joining on with him. I do have some jokes about that to make the point. To make the point, I'm afraid to use it. Should I?
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead?
Go ahead, Bob, yeah.
Well, this woman had constipation. So the doctor gave her a box of suppositories. He said, take one each day, come back at the end of the week, tell me how it worked. She came back at the end of the week. He said, did it help? She said, for all the good it did, I could have stuck them up my ass. So he made the assumption that she knew what to do with it. But she didn't. Or when I go to a restaurant, and I walk out with 2 spoons, and they catch me, and I say, right there in the doctor's prescription, it says take 2 teaspoons after each meal. Another thing, okay, you've got the idea. There have been times when I've discovered in my answer to a student's question that he doesn't follow me at all, because I had assumed he had a knowledge of something prior to that. And maybe you didn't expect that kind of answer from me, but I think that is the worst thing, to write at a level, what should I say, elitist level, not to get down to the reality of the situation, who you're really dealing with. And you can make a million mistakes that way. In the language you use, and the level of the language you use, for example, is one way. In the analogies you bring up, and I've often wondered how these foreign translations can have any effect at all, because our books are grounded in what's happening here in the United States. And I don't know the educational system in all these other countries. They may be totally different. So I don't know what their background is. They certainly didn't write for those countries. And they don't have super highways and 70-foot buildings. And so I feel that the books I've written for my students here don't necessarily apply in all these other places. And it's a mistake often for these countries to get on the bandwagon and use it when they have physicists of their own who know the system and know the students and could do a better job. When I raise that question abroad, they all think I'm crazy. I'm telling them don't use my book. And here's why. And they'll all say, well, we all know the United States is the leader in science. And I said, but I'm talking about teaching and education. And then they'll say the multinational corporations keep us from publishing it, or if they published a Spanish book in the Dominican Republic, they wouldn't use it in Puerto Rico. And I get all kinds of answers. But still, the books are not necessarily appropriate to the student. So the best I can think of off the top of my head now is join on where the student is that you're teaching. When you write a book, have your audience in mind. And there are many ways to make mistakes not doing that. I apologize if you think that humor is too raw, but I suspect you'll use those jokes yourself sometime.
Mel, did you construct all of the homework problems?
Well, I told you all the things I didn't understand were in the...
Well, I was just wondering, since
No.
you said that you had TAs or PhDs...
No, we hired them to solve the problems so that we get the answers in the back of the book. We wanted the answers to be correct. No, but you have to remember that we tested this book for 4 years at RPI. And that's 4 semesters and 4 years and 2,000 students. And God knows how many quizzes and tests and how much criticism back and forth and attending meetings and all that. We had a flood of stuff. Was it original? Some of it was. A lot of complaints we got is that many of our answers had to be in algebraic form rather than numerical. And I think the professors liked that, but the students hated that. They wanted to plug numbers in, you see. I'm sure there was some originality there. But you know, we're born into this world accepting all the past labor of past generations, and we start from that point. And so we shouldn't feel too smart about where we are, I think. I'm sorry, I'm getting philosophical.
Another question, ma'am?